Hello, welcome again to another video of Engineering Economics 2373, and in this video we're going to talk about inflation. In economics, inflation is a rise in the general level of prices of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. When the price level rises, each unit of currency buys fewer goods and services. Consequently, inflation also reflects an erosion of the purchasing power of money, a loss on the real value in the internal medium of exchange and unit of accounting in the economy. A chief measure of price inflation is the inflation rate, the annualized percentage change in a general price index. Typically, the normal is the consumer price index over time. The effects of inflation in the economy can be both positive and negative. Negative effects of inflation include a decrease in the real value of money and other monetary items over time. Uncertainty over future inflation may discourage investment and savings, and high inflation may lead to shortages of goods if consumers begin hoarding out of the concern that prices will increase in the future. Positive effects include ensuring central banks can adjust nominal interest rates intended to mitigate recessions and encouraging investment in non-monetary capital projects. Economists generally agree that high rates of inflation and hyperinflation are caused by excessive growth of the money supply. Views in which factors determine low to moderate rates of inflation are more varied. Low or more varied inflation may be attributed to a fluctuation in real demand for goods and services, or changes in available supplies, such as during scarcities, as well as to growth in the money supply. However, the consensus view is that long-sustained period of inflation is caused by money supply growing faster than the rate of the economic growth. What this means is that as the demand grows, maybe because the population is growing, since there is more demand for the same products, we could expect a higher level of this higher level of demand will make the prices to increase. But the real concern is hyperinflation, and hyperinflation happens when there is excessive supply of money. We mentioned the consumer price index, and the consumer price index is a way to measure how the prices are changing, or the preferences of purchases are changing with the consumers in a particular region. Typically, this is the percentage changes in the consumer price index is a useful measure to estimate the inflation for the same period. So what I would like to do now is to demonstrate this concept. Consumer price index at the beginning of, maybe, say, to make it simple, 100, and then the percentage change of that inflation for this first year. This is at the end of, say, year 1, and the percentage change of the change of inflation, or the inflation in that year, is 2.5. So that means now that the next year we're going to have 100 times 1.025, and that is, next year the index will be 102.5. Okay, so next year, let's say that now the percentage of change on the consumer price index is 5%. Now we would have 102.5 times 1.05, and now this number is 107.625, and the inflation during that year was 5%. The cumulative inflation in the last 2 years is 7.6%. Let's continue with this few more examples. In this next year, we have 107 0.625, and the percentage of change in the consumer price index is 3. Now I have 107.625 times 1.03, and the value of the consumer price index would be 110.85. If I keep all the digits, strictly speaking, it would be 37.5. And the inflation in the last 3 years would be 10.85%. Okay, so we could keep going with these examples. Let's say one more time. The inflation at 110.85 that particular year, let's say, is now 2%. The inflation now, you know, is 110.85 times 1.02, and this number is 113.07. Now you could ask the question, what is the inflation that happened from year 2 to year 4? Well, based on these computations, it would be okay, let's see, we have here 113.07. If I use all the digits, 070825. Okay, let's say that, for instance, we're interested in finding the inflation from year 3 to year 5. So in order to compute that, then the inflation would be 113.07 0825 divided by 107.625, and all that minus 1. And this should be equivalent to just multiplying 1.02 times 1.03, which are the corresponding changes in the inflation in the consumer price index percentage, minus 1, and the answer is 5.06%. Okay, so that's how the inflation is computed and its relation with the consumer price index. The consumer price index could be related to any particular year, and periodically it's updated in terms of how it is computed. For more information about this